Hey everyone, and welcome back to Joey's Retro Newscast. It is Friday, so here's all of your retro handhelds, retro gaming, and gaming news. First up, some housekeeping before we get into the actual news. I did an update to my website. I don't know if a lot of people know, but I have a website, and it has all of the guides that I've ever done, and they're all in written form, so you can go and if my voice is not good enough for you, which I get, you can just go on the website and you can just get everything you need in text form. However, I updated the website. Finally, I was really tired of my old design because number one, it was based off of a theme that I didn't own. And so making changes to it was so difficult. And number two, I didn't really like the whole design. So now this is my own theme. I can do whatever I want. I have added a whole bunch of different things. We have our game of the month, which is now a different name. We'll talk about that in a second. But we have all of our games that are showing there, so you can easily see what we're playing at a glance. But also the entire website is now responsive. It should work on all different types of tablets and phones and all of that. And all in all, I just made little improvements that I really wanted to do, but I couldn't do before. So the website is there. It gets about a third of my YouTube views, so it does a lot. Like there's hundreds of thousands of you viewing it every month. But I always forget to plug it. So I'm plugging it now. Go and check out the website. It might help you, it might not. It's there, it's free. Do whatever you want. Last piece of housekeeping news, we have changed the name. So I called it Game of the Month, but it wasn't Game of the Month, right? We had a Game of the Month, we had a ROM Hack of the Month, we had a Game of the Season. Now we have a Game of the Week. Game of the Month doesn't fit as like a name for all of those events. So now it is the Play Retro Games Club. That is what it's called. Play Retro Games Club. It's easy. It tells you exactly what we're doing. It's acronymal. You can make an acronym out of it. PRGC. All of it fits. So if that sounds cool to you, which Play Retro Games Club is Game of the Week, Game of the Month, Game of the Season, ROM Hack of the Month. As of right now, that is Comic Zone for Game of the Week, Conker's Bad Fur Day for Nintendo 64 for Game of the Month, Super Mario Bros. Enhanced for ROM Hack, and Kingdom Hearts for Game of the Season. I have beat all those games this week. I did them all. And a lot of people have as well. I want to thank you all for joining last week. There's a lot of you that joined and are starting to play games. So if you missed out, if you're like, I missed out last week, you can come join this week. You could still do it. We're just playing games. And if you're curious how to do that, just play a game in the thread. You do a completed command and you're done. That's all. You don't have to worry about anything else. Come join the Discord. It's in the description. You can come play games with us. Play Retro Games Club. That's what it's called. Okay, time for the news. And we're going to talk about ARM SX2 right now. Not so much in a release way, although they did have their last actual release of like daily, monthly, hourly releases that they've been doing, which is version 38. It's been 3 days. 3 days in ARM SX2 time is like years. But at the bottom, they did say this is the last version of this format. They're going to restructure the project and distribution of releases are going to be more of a stable nightly type of thing, which thank Jesus, because I could not keep up with the number of releases. I don't know if you guys could. I could not. Long story short, ARM SX2 is going to go to a stable release format, which is really good. So we can finally probably do a video on it when that happens, because hopefully that means that things won't change drastically in an hour like they have been now. But we also do need to talk about ARM SX2 in another news story. RetroAchievements has announced that Nether SX2 is no longer supported for hardcore retro achievements. So for those that don't know, Nether SX2 was the only way on Android for you to play PS2 games and earn hardcore retro achievements. Now they are saying that ARM SX2 is the only way that you can do so. So they took it away from Nether, they've put it to ARM. This has been a long thing. They never originally wanted Nether SX2 to even have hardcore support a long time ago. They kind of capitulated on that. Is that the right word for it? Whatever it is. They backed down and they allowed Nether SX2 to work with hardcore. And so we've had that for a long time now. And then ARM SX2 is now making progress and they've decided to jump ship to ARM SX2. I don't use hardcore retro achievements But this was not the right decision to make. ARMSX2, as good as it is currently, when they made this decision, was not in a place where they could make this decision, if that makes sense to you. There are a lot of games that run perfectly fine on ARMSX2. There are a lot of games that run better than NetherSX2. There's all that sort of thing. But why remove the choice before they even have a stable build out of ARMSX2? That's the part that doesn't make sense to me. And so there was a whole bunch of backlash to this on the RetroAchievements forums. It was a whole big thing, as you can imagine, because a lot of people had the same idea of ARMSX2 isn't ready yet. You're kind of forcing this on them, which I don't know if they've agreed or not, but you're forcing this on them and putting more pressure than they already have when you could have just let NetherSX2 slide for another month or two. Like, what could have been the harm for doing that while ARMSX2 gets up to speed? So, long story short, that's what's happened. There was a big backlash. If you have been using NetherSX2 for RetroAchievements and Hardcore, July 16th is the last day that you can do that, and then you have to use ARMSX2. I don't like it, but that's what they decided to do. And they locked the thread, so we can't really communicate more on it. But that's where we're at. Sonic Unleashed, the Xbox 360 game that had a decomp, recomp port, or whatever you want to call it for PC, has now been ported to Android. So you have an actual native port of Sonic Unleashed on Android now, if you want it, which is pretty cool. I think we're going to see a lot more of these recomp ports as we go along. Like we talked about Banjo-Kazooie and the dual screen. I saw a Zelda one with dual screens. There is this Sonic Unleashed. There's going to be a whole bunch more of these. At some point, we're going to have to figure out a way to like consolidate them, or like a launcher for recomp ports of some sort, or like, I don't know what I'm saying, but like there's going to be way too many that you won't even know what's out there. So there's got to be some sort of like repository of all of these. But either way, if you want to play some Sonic Unleashed on Android, you can do so now. Last of the software news. Yes, this is going to be a quick one today. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but we don't have a lot of news to talk about today. But last is a new project called MinUI 0 for the TrimUI Brick and TrimUI Smart Pro. This would be a custom firmware, kind of like MinUI, except MinUI 0 is the name. Basically, the whole purpose of this fork, from what the developer has said, is to tune everything underneath for lower power, better battery life, less heat, and smoother gameplay. So they've had a whole bunch of information on lower battery life or better battery life. So they're saying it's 7.5 hours of Game Boy compared to 6 hours before tuning, or 4 to 5 degrees cooler, 7 to 9 degrees cooler, that sort of thing. As somebody who had massive issues with heat from the TrimUI Brick, that was a little bit fixed by the TrimUI Brick Hammer, this is good to see. So MinUI 0, it's a new custom firmware available for the TrimUI Brick and TrimUI Smart Pro. You might want to check it out. Okay, so question of the week. We talked about our Play Retro Games Club earlier, and the game of the week right now is Comic Zone, which is a Genesis Mega Drive game. For those that don't know, you should go check out this game. It is actually really cool, or you could come play it. It'll switch over on Sunday or Monday, so you have a few days before the end of the week to play it. But you play as like a side, it's kind of side scrolling, except you're in a comic. And so you can jump down to the different comic slide. What is it called for comic? Whatever. Like imagine a comic. And so you can jump to the different pages or whatever. And so it's really cool that way. The art style is fantastic. The music is fantastic. I really like the gameplay part of it. However, this is going to tie into the question of the week. The difficulty of the game is something that makes no sense at all. So all of these things add up into an awesome game. I'm like, yes, this is cool. And then it's difficult. Like you have one life. That's it. One life. And you have to go through like, I think it was 3 different stages or whatever it is. And it's not easy, like at all. So most of us used either save states or cheats to get around it, rewind, whatever you want to say. I'm sure there's people out there that can beat it, and congratulations, you're a game master. So the question of the week is, what is the last game that for you hit all of the right notes, but the difficulty killed it for you? This is a prime example for me because it was just this week. Comic Zone, I loved everything about it. The difficulty was like Could you remake this and make this not as difficult? Because I would love to play this again. It is awesome. I would also love a different type of, like, if anybody knows of a Comic Zone type game, then let me know, because that was really cool. But what was the last game that you played that everything lined up, but then the difficulty was like the one thing where you're like, this is way too hard. This kills everything for me. Why did you do this? Let me know in the comments. This is probably like a retro thing, because most modern games now have like an easy mode or God mode and all these sorts of things. But like, still, like retro games, like they needed to squeeze all of your money out of that $70, $80, $90 that you spent way back when, because that was the only game you're going to play that year. But like the difficulty, it's too much. Let me know in the comments. Jumping over into device news now, and AYN is in the news because they're teasing a new device. Okay, let me back up. AYN is doing a poll on their Discord. Every single time they have done a poll on their Discord, where moderator Scott continually tells you that it is a personal poll and not for AYN, they have a device that releases in a few weeks. So it's a long-standing joke and a long-standing thing that whenever a poll happens on the AYN server, a device is coming. In this case, it looks like it's going to be a PC handheld, not an Android one. So for those that don't remember, AYN used to make PC handhelds until it all blew up and they said that they would never do it again, or not in a long time. It has been a long time. I don't know why they would go back to making a PC handheld, but they seem like they want to do it again. We'll talk about that in a second. The poll is asking if AYN was to ever create a Loki 2 or a new PC handheld, would repairability and modularity play a big factor in buying one? So easy to swap battery, swappable SSD, modular USB port, repair parts easily available, and so on. The second question is, if AYN was ever to make another PC handheld, what do you think they should be aiming the device to feel like? As comfortable as the Loki was, as thin and sleek as it can be made, as big and wide as the Steam Deck, as small and pocketable as possible, and so on. I think there might be a few other questions, but you're getting the gist. They're asking questions about PC handhelds and what AYN should do. So we're going to back up here a little bit. For those that don't know, AYN did make the AYN Loki, is PC handheld way back when. And they might have made some other ones. I don't remember, but I remember the Loki, Loki Max, the Mendocino Loki, whatever. I had a few of them, or most of them. The Loki was bad. I can't sugarcoat this. It was comfortable. The sticks were really nice. Like, that part was good. The weight was weird. The software was atrocious. The pricing wasn't great back then. It wasn't bad, but they discounted it, and then it was actually pretty good. There was a whole lot of things. And then they got in a whole big trouble because of how they released it and couldn't fulfill orders. And then also the actual parts. A lot of people's broke afterwards. The batteries, like, you could not find batteries for them. I had users come out to me and be like, how do I get a battery for this? I'm like, I have no idea. So there's a whole bunch of issues with this. To the point where, like, AYN had made jokes of, like, never doing this again, a PC handheld, because of their experiences. So it is weird to see them considering it, doing it, whatever you want to say here. I don't think it's the right choice, especially in 2026. If that is the case, if we're going to see a Loki 2 in a month, I don't think this is the right time for that in 2026. I think there is a lot of other things they could be doing with their batches of Snapdragon Elites and Snapdragon 8 Gen 2s. You can make a vertical. You can make a tablet. We don't have a lot of tablets that are in cheap price ranges. I'm looking for a tablet. I can't find a good one. You can make a very small device, a premium smaller device. You have all these avenues on the Android side that you have done extremely well with. Like, that is your niche. When we talk about Android handhelds, it is AYN at the top, and then everybody else is way down. So stick to that is where I go. You tried the PC handheld thing. It didn't work. Nothing has gotten better since then. It's actually worse. So it's a very weird thing to think about. I don't know why they would. It's a weird thing. The only thing I would want from a PC handheld nowadays that we don't have the technology for is a dual screen one. When I say we don't have the technology for, I mean from a battery perspective, from a power perspective, from a software perspective, all of these things. So, like, it's not there yet. but like I would want one of those at some point in the future. So what I'm saying is I'm a bit confused by this one, but AYN is probably going to be doing a PC handheld, so let me know what you think about that. Let's jump over to some news from Retroid here, and I'm going to go on the first line, okay? Let me know what you think about this when you hear the first line. We have an important update regarding the Retroid Pocket 5 and Flip 2. In the back of my mind, before reading anything further, I'm like, all right, we're raising prices here. How much are we going up? What's happening? Except in this case, it is actually good news. They are upgrading unfulfilled orders of both devices to 12 gigabytes of RAM. The storage stays the same, but you are getting a free upgrade to 12 gigabytes of RAM from 8 gigabytes of RAM. That means that current prices were $179 for the Flip 2 and $199 for the Retroid Pocket 5. Those are now 12 gigabyte RAM devices. Honestly, awesome. They're both 16:9. You might actually use that 12 gigabytes of RAM on those devices. That's a good change, and it's free of charge for those. However, they are, July 15th, changing the price of both devices to $10 more, but it will include the 12 gigabytes of RAM. Which now beggars the question of why does the Retroid Pocket Nova and Retroid Pocket 6 cost $30 and $40 for that 12 gigabytes of RAM, but these are $12? It could be a scenario where they had all of the other parts and they're trying to get rid of stock, and this was the last part that they needed. It's all they had, and this is kind of it, but it is a weird scenario. Either way, there is nothing negative that I can say here. Not that I would want to, but like, this is a good change. They are giving you a free upgrade to 12 gigabytes of RAM. Otherwise, it's $10 more, and you're getting 12 gigabytes of RAM. I think that change makes sense. I don't really have anything bad to say. Both devices are likely on their last legs, if I had to guess. Like, I don't know how much longer you're going to have access to a Retroid Pocket 5 or a Flip 2, so this is probably for old stock to clear it out, but hey, if you're getting a free upgrade, it's cool. We have some news on the MagicX Mini 028. It is being discontinued thanks to DDR4 RAM prices. Unfortunately, the MagicX Mini 028 is now gone. I think we should hold a memoriam for this. The MagicX Mini 028 was, it went through a lot. It had a tough life. It was first the MagicX XU Mini M, and then they had the whole debacle about using the wrong processor in there. And then they came out with the MagicX 028, and then there was a V2 version of it. But throughout all of that, I liked it. It was a nice handheld. It was a small, little, fun handheld that they put the effort in. They could have just, at the XU Mini M part, been like, whatever, screw off. But they didn't. They came back, they revised it, made it better. They actually sent the device to me for review after I lambasted them. And they've made great decisions since then. They had the Mini 040. They've come out with good devices. MagicX we don't talk about a lot, but they are in their little corner doing their little thing, maybe showing off designs more than devices a little too much. But like, I'm in their corner at this point where it's like, I love what they do on the software side of things. They put the effort there. And on the software or on the hardware side of things, they're trying. They're doing different things. So like, for me, I kind of like it. And it's unfortunate the Mini 028 is being discontinued because I thought it was one of their better devices. So yeah, and we don't get a lot of smaller devices, which is something we're going to talk about now in the next news part. MagicX off of this is teasing a new Mini 40, which is a different device that is going to use the screen from the Mini 040. Let me talk about this in full. They're looking at doing two different versions for this. There's the MagicX Mini 40 with the RK3572 processor. It's got 2 gigabytes of RAM, 4-inch 800 by 480, which is a 5:3 screen, Linux, dual speakers, Wi-Fi, all of that fun stuff. Then they are looking at another model, which is the All-Winner A333 processor, 1 gigabyte of RAM, and the same other specs. The price of the first one is aiming for $79 and the second one $59. And then they showed off a bunch of different colors, which is black, orange, translucent green, and translucent magenta. Basically, they're trying to gauge intent here on if this is something you would want to buy. I initially asked them right away, could you use the 135 screen instead and the MIUI Mini Ice Blue color? I got shut down on both questions. So to me, a 5x3 screen does it excite you? I don't know if it excites anybody. It doesn't excite anybody. However, an Anbernic RG351P successor, which would be this with the 3x2 aspect ratio screen from the 135, gets me excited. I'm there. I'm ready for that. So that's where my mind went. But it seems like they can't do that. They're trying to use up old screens of the Mini 040 because they probably bought a lot. They sold a lot of that device, so it makes sense. So it is unfortunate, but hopefully they can maybe change their mind on the color at least. So I'm curious. Let me know in the comments. Does this device interest you? My mind goes to no, nothing special here, but I do want to see more devices in this price range, $59.79. Like, we need to see more of that, especially now. Like, don't stay away from the $150 range, all of that. MagicX plays well in the $50 range. That's where they should be. I don't know if this device is what I'm looking for or what everybody's looking for. That's where my mind goes. But let me know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this interests you. And last of the device news, the AYN Pocket Micro 2 is going to be back up for sale. They are releasing the 6GB RAM, 128GB version with the Stardust Purple only, up for pre-order for $269 US, starting July 10th at 20 PST. What is that? 8 p.m. PST time. And shipments will be late August. They are saying that they are looking into other storage options, but it might take 3 to 4 months for that to happen, or 3 months for those materials. I don't know, whatever. I don't want to talk about this again, but like, if you're going to spend $269 on the AYN Pocket Micro 2, then have fun. I would argue as alternatives, the RetroAchievements Pocket 5 and Flip 2 with 12GB of RAM and the same processor, but also an OLED screen and better battery and everything like that, is $60 to $70 less. So that's all I'm going to say. I don't want to get in trouble again. So that's all I'm going to say about the AYN Pocket Micro 2. $270. Are you fucking insane? Next story. There is no next story. So as always, we're going to end off with the Newscast Q&A. Send in your questions to newscast@joeysretrohandhelds.com, or there's a Discord channel. You can send it in through there, which is how most people do it. It's easier. First question comes in from Duxa5. Are there any movies you're looking forward to this summer? Or have there been any good ones you've seen that have already come out? I haven't watched a good movie in so long. Not to say I haven't been watching movies. They mostly have not been good. So I've kind of not watched a lot of them lately. I don't know. I did take a look at what was upcoming or what might have come out this year that I still haven't watched. Spider-Man I'm going to watch, but I don't love the Marvel DC or Marvel MCU Spider-Man. Like, Tom Holland doesn't do it for me, and their goofiness doesn't do it for me. I'm going to watch Avengers Doomsday. Neither of these I'm going to watch in theater, to be clear. I'll watch them at some point in the future. I kind of watch them just because, like, what else am I going to watch? But so Doomsday, not interested, but I'll watch. Street Fighter, I am interested. Not enough to go to a theater, but enough to watch for sure. I want to see that movie. The Odyssey, definitely interested, although I am a little worried about the choices that they have made for that. I love Greek mythology. The Iliad, Odyssey, books that I love reading. We'll see. We'll see about these ones. Again, not in theater. Toy Story 5. Toy Story 5 is a movie that I'm going to watch. I don't know if it's out yet. I don't follow any of this, but I'll probably watch it whenever it is out on digital. Mario Galaxy, I still need to watch. I haven't watched just yet. And I just watched Obsession last week. It was okay. I don't know. Horrors these days are not what horrors should be. Like, they're more comedy than horror. And so I find myself laughing more than I should be scared in these movies. And so, like, I go after and I look and, like, everybody's like, this is the best horror movie in years. I'm just like, man, you have no standards if this was the best. But it was okay. It was all right. Like, I watched Midsummer a few weeks ago, and that was an awful movie. Obsession was at least better than that. So, yeah. Those are the movies that I kind of looked up. But I'm not going to a theater for anything. You can't get me into a theater nowadays. Like, I got a home theater in the basement. I can go and watch whatever I want there. It's not an experience I want to enjoy anymore. And it's not great. Next question comes in from Mash Ketchum. Thank you for everything you do. I use and love Obtainium simply because of your JSON and setup guide. My question is, what was your first handheld? Additionally, what was your first Android handheld if the answer was different? My first handheld was the Anbernic RG353V, and it was both Anbernic and Linux. Oh, Anbernic. It was both Android and Linux, so it was a dual boot device. I didn't love it. I still don't like verticals with sticks on the bottom. I don't find that comfortable or good at all. So my second device, which was the Anbernic RG405M, was the first love of my retro handheld career. That was an awesome handheld that, again, we don't see anymore for whatever reason, but whatever. I loved it. Last question comes in from Anubis. I have a notebook with benchmarks similar to a Steam Deck. Oh boy. Can you make a guide to install dual boot Windows 11 and Bezel? I assume he means Bazite, or SteamOS or other Linux environment for emulation. It runs on Linux, not ARM. So I used to have a Bazite guide on my website. I had to take it down because it was out of date. I guess I could revisit Bazite as a video. It's been a while. Probably would be a good idea. You know what? I'll come back to you on that one. I do dual boot my Apex right now for Bazite and Windows. But I would need a new device because I'm not going to reformat that just for a video. So I'm going to need a new device. Whenever that happens, I'll get you a video out on this, but it might be a while. Bazite instructions are pretty easy though, if you want to follow them. That's going to be it for this one. Hope you have a good week. Hope you have a good weekend. And again, come join the Play Retro Games Club. It's on the Discord. Play some games with us. It's fun. It's fun. I appreciate you all for watching, and that's all from me, Havana, Cuba.